Welcome everyone to the Comic Collector's Corner podcast. We are doing the review for Amazing Fantasy 1000, Amazing Spider-Man number 9, Legacy 903, and Amazing Spider-Man number 10, Legacy 904. I decided to do them all for a month instead of doing them individually for the channel and podcast. Just figured it'd be easier. I thought to do them in bulk rather than create individual shows. So as far as Amazing Fantasy 1000 goes, I'm not going to review the entire thing because that's just 8 different mini-stories and I don't want to go through them all. You know, just like I said, I am tired. It's been a hell of a long day dealing with work, dealing with people. It's just, you know those days where you're done. You quit, you're done. Throw it all in. I'm going to bed. Good night. Wake me never. I'm there. So, anyway, I will go over the two stories I liked more than the rest. Funny enough, they're the first two. It is Just Some Guy, by Anthony Falcone and Michael Cho, the writers, and Michael Cho being the artist. Basically, some guy, regular thief who really likes it when the superheroes. He loves the city, loves the superheroes, because when they're off busy, they're not paying attention to little guys like him, so he can be free to be, doing all his many small crimes and all that. But, leave and behold, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man's always there to bust him up and catch him because, he's just not some guy. He is everybody. Everyone's important. It goes all the way down to the whole, you think your crimes don't matter? That no one ever gets hurt because of you. Well, you're wrong, because everyone gets hurt. And it all goes back to the whole Uncle Ben story. You're not just some guy. So it was a very, very, very good story. I ranked it, I think, an A-. Could use room for improvement, but just it went down to the whole who Spider-Man is, I thought. And the second story was actually my favorite story, The Sinister 60th. Funny enough, is written by Dan Slott. Spider-Man being 60 years old now, celebrating his birthdays, he's fighting a young, teenage girl, Vulture. And just Mary Jane's calling, we're gonna make the reservation, because they're still married. Funny, Dan Slott writes him married to Peter Parker, and I love the story. But Spider-Man being 60 years old, slowing down, he gets injured by a gunman. And in the hospital recovering, the city's saying their well wishes and how much he means to them. Peter's struggling to get out of bed, or, stay in bed for that matter. And just the whole MJ connection, being 60 years old, it meant an awful lot. It was a very meaningful, very touching. It was just a very good story. And that Dan Slott story, I think I ranked it an A+. It was just a great story. But all in all, the stories they were more difficult after that. Some of them I didn't understand at all, really. I think I did enjoy the Slaves of the Witch Queen, which is basically which was a sequel to the whole Mummy story in Amazing Fantasy 15. It was a great book, was a great story. I enjoyed that one. And there's another one I can't remember. It was a Spider Council kind of thing. I'm not sure if it was listed or not, because I don't really see it. But, You Get It. It was called You Get It. It's like a Spider Council thing. It was written by Jonathan Hickman. It was just very good. Pretty good. But, all in all, I ranked the Amazing Fantasy 1000. Overall grade, B+. It was a solid B+. Most of the artwork I liked, or was decent, and the ones I didn't, well, you can't win them all. But I give Amazing Fantasy 1000 a solid a solid B+. Maybe if there was more stories, like the Dan Slott story, that I enjoyed, it would have gotten an A. But you can't win them all. It was still a good story. Alright, next up, Amazing Spider-Man number 9, Legacy 903. This is the Hellfire Gala tie-in for Free Comic Book Day and the Hellfire Gala. Regular JRJ cover. Basically, Spider-Man, let's all go over it since I can do that without bending the cover, shall we? Written by Zeb Wells. Patrick Gleason was the artist. Marco Menez, the color artist, and Joe Killmonger is the letterer. Basically, a summary of the story: Spider-Man's going through the whole, giving a statement, with the psychic machine, what's happening and what was with Mary Jane and the fight and all that. Moira McTaggart's controlling Mary Jane, but I think she's body jacking, kind of thing, or kind of taking over Mary Jane's body, from what I understand. And so she's being, threatening, to kill Mary Jane if Mary Jane doesn't do what she needs her to do, and so Mary Jane's doing it. Spider-Man and Wolverine teaming up since Berlin, very fun. Spider-Man wants to jump headfirst and chasing after Mary Jane because, he loves her, cares about her. Wolverine basically trying to slow him down. They're fighting bits and pieces of things. Wolverine saying, hey, I talk psychically to Mary Jane. She knows the story. She's leading us to Moira's body. So we're not going to separate the two of them. Spider-Man's arguing. He's wearing the Norman suit for the first time fully, I think. But this is very good. Moira go back to headquarters. Moira, MJ go back to headquarters. Wolverine, a mutant, and Spider-Man, bust up the party. An EMP device frees Mary Jane and Moira. They wrestle with her robotic body. She, they win in the end. Or she escapes, so they, win again. And Spider-Man walks Mary Jane back home through the gateway to New York, where Peter tries to talk to her. She doesn't want to talk, and brings up Paul, and this whole thing's about responsibility. And it was a decent story. Ultimately, I think that the artwork was decent. It wasn't horrible. Artwork was decent. Patrick Gleason does good work. The story was pretty solid. I like the team-up aspect. Not a bad tie-in. Not great. A little complicated. Hard to understand if you're just walking into it. But I think I gave number 9 here. I think I gave it a... I think I give it a B, honestly. I think I give it a B, B+. Yeah, B+. It was good. Could have been better. But, yeah, it's good. It's really good. Yeah. Alright. So yeah, I said I'll give Amazing Spider-Man number 9 I'll give it a actually we'll give it a B. A solid B. Now we're up to Amazing Spider-Man number 10, Legacy 904. Story written by Zeb Wells. Interior, we have a guest artist. Guest artist by Nick Dragata. Colorist Marco Menez and Joe Killmonger letterer. as far as tie-ins go, this was one of the best tie-ins I've ever seen. If you have to interrupt the story to talk about the event, you could do far worse, because they managed to still extend the storyline, what was going on beforehand. So basically all in New York City is freaking out because the judge, Celestial, is basically telling everyone, you're going to be judged. You have 24 hours to make yourself, deem yourself worthy or not. Before we'll be judged. And Peter's talking to Iron Man, going, hey, if you see a ghost of someone who's dead, does it mean I've gone crazy? So no, you're all good. So, because he sees Gwen Stacy with a glowing red eye, holding her thumb out like she's the Emperor of Rome. Waiting to give a reason. Randy's stopping by the next day. Randy's stopping by, saying, "You promised to go with me to Fit a Tux." Peter, thinking that, with what's going on, maybe I should be doing other things right now. Because he's the only one who could see Ghost Judge Gwen. And so maybe just decide, Randy's like saying, you promised, man, you promised me to do this. And I go, well, I did promise, and I guess that's important, especially today, while being judged and all. Finds a suit that fits. And, decides to swing by Aunt May, see how she's doing. She's doing good with her own, turns out, her judge, Uncle Ben. Stopping by J. Jonah Jameson. They have their old talk out, their talk out and all that. And you're a good guy, Jonah, and the things you did wrong, you did for the right reasons, that you were trying to, yada, yada, yada. He forgives you. He forgives him for anything, bad things he might have caused as a result. He tries to check in on Ben, but he doesn't show up to their rendezvous meeting spot. Tells Miles, stops by Miles, takes that bad guy together, how proud they are together. Uneasy night, being stared at by Gwen, or Judge Gwen. Next day he goes into work because Norman Osborn's cracking that whip. Gotta go to work, guys. Talking to Kamala Khan. They're going good. Judge Gwen freaks out a little bit when she sees Norman. What fun that is. And so she starts floating off. Peter gets all worried. No, I can explain, Gwen. Wait. And here's one thing I really liked about this issue, that it really explains more about what the hell is going on. Peter, I know you're upset for me working for Norman, but look, Norman, Norman looks like he's changed. It looks like he's changed and all that. I'm trying to be a good. I'm trying to ask myself, how would the person I lost, which was Gwen, judge me since the day she died, and I want to explain myself to her that, we see when we see part of the scenario what really happened for the whole 6 months later, that no one would agree. He lost someone he loved a while back, and then he wanted to do everything to get her back. So apparently this is about a girl, this whole 6-month thing. And that he could convince no one to agree with his tactics, except for Norman, who would agree to help him. And so that's why he feels that, he didn't work out the way he wanted it to work out, but Norman at least tried to help him. And now Norman's gotten a chance at a fresh start with, the whole sins being cleansed, and that he's trying to be a good man, and because he's trying to be a good man, it's Peter's responsibility to try to help him keep doing the good thing, and to keep him from becoming the man who killed Gwen. He's doing all this because he still loves Gwen. And that's when the whole judgment thing's at the end. The judge says, I deem you worthy, Peter. And as a reward, he brings back Gwen for a second, the actual Gwen from where her spirit was. And so they have this minute where they basically, they say how they missed each other, and you can even though they don't say it, this whole silent "I love you" thing. Oh, okay, I apologize. And then Gwen dies again, but doesn't really die again. She just fades back off because she doesn't belong there. She wasn't really brought back. She was just brought forth. And all that. Norman sees Gwen in a way that no one else could before. And he thought he was freaking out, going, "No, stop, pull together, you're fine, you're fine." And he has his own little ghost, creepy Gwen in there. When I first read this on Wednesday, because I bought it digitally to be able to read it, half the artwork I really hate. There's some panels, these panels where it's just Gwen. I like how Gwen looks. I don't like how Peter looks. Norman looks more like Harry than Norman. Yeah, Gwen's the only thing I really like. I just wish that Patrick Gleason was on this issue rather than Nick Dragotta. I wish Nick had been on the other, Hellfire Gala, and that way Gleason would have been on this one. Because I loved this story. The story was like A+. It was the art and the over-exaggerated tear-crying face conjointed or twisted, emotional. I didn't like it. I just wished it was something different. So, originally I graded this thing at a B+. Looking back over and reading it again, I was a little harsh on it based on solely the artwork alone. However, I cannot give it an A. Amazing Spider-Man number 10, I can give it no higher than an A-. Like the 92%. Like I said, it's just a story for a cross. This is one of the best crossovers I've ever read as far as connecting stories together. It touched on the tie-in, the crossover it had to, while still progressing its own storyline. If I just saw more artwork like this, I would have loved it. Instead of J.R. only doing the cover, I would have thought. I've had my own issues with John Romita Jr. recently, but even I feel he does better than the other fill-in artist. But yeah, so the last issue I gave it number 9. I gave it a B+. This one gets an A-. Very solid book. If it was just the artwork was better, it would have been a solid A without a doubt. So those are my reviews for Amazing Spider-Man number 9 and 10, Amazing Fantasy 1000. Tune in down below. I'm assuming for links to my podcast, YouTube channel, or the 750 subscriber contest. That's if you're on YouTube. If you're listening to this on podcast, some of that information might be in the description, but I don't think it all will. So, do me a favor, check it out. I apologize for looking so totally exhausted for those of you watching this video, but it was an extremely long day. I've tried to do 2 videos today, and I've been interrupted multiple times during each of them, probably totaling like 6 or 7 things together. It was an impossible day to do anything for the YouTube channel, so I am exhausted. I'm irritated. It's a done day. beyond a doubt, it's just a done day. So take care, everyone. Give me a follow, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time for the next episode of the Comic Collector's Corner and on my YouTube channel, Mr. Comics 89. Talk to you guys later, and happy collecting.